Hey y'all. So as per standard, I waited till the very last minute to do my garden update. It is June 30th and we are about to head out for vacation. So I figured I would come out here and, try to really stick to my guns and do what I said I was going to do, which are these monthly garden updates. So here we go. So it's about 7:30 in the morning and the sun is just now, wow, that's bright. The sun is just now coming out. Ooh. So I'm going to start up here where it's already kind of in full blast, and then I'll head on down to the yard and show you what's going on down there. So here is our little sitting area, the tea garden. Then we have these little window boxes that I planted up for summer. I was really nervous about the impatiens. I thought that they were going to have a hard time standing up with everything else, but they're really bulking up and coming through. And I planted up the arborvitae, as you may have known if you follow me on Instagram. And then I added this cute little, I believe it's Super Bell bubblegum. Of course I wouldn't leave a tag in there. Why would I? And I'm thinking about getting 2 more just to really fill out that space. Over here I have the hydrangea that I saved from the death rack at Lowe's, and it's starting to flush out some new blooms, so that's really exciting. The grapevine has just decided to kind of burst out. It's getting nice and tall, which makes me very happy. I planted little baby sunflowers on the sides there, and I guess I may have spread some marigold seeds in here at one point, but that's the only one I see coming up, so I really have no idea. And I'm gonna get some mulch on this before we leave, as well as the other 2 planters. So I've sung the sad song of this nectarine tree like every video. I now have 3 fruit left. And if you remember, when I started these tours, I had a ton of fruit. But between the wind and the leaf curl, and I believe at one point it had aphids because there were ants everywhere, and then whatever is making these tiny little holes, I'll tell you, this tree, it's like the most upsetting thing right now in my garden because I just can't figure it out. But one day I will, and when that day comes, I'll be proud of myself. Okay, so also in the shade corner, we've got some chives, and I moved my upside down planter over here just because I couldn't get it back up the steps. It was so heavy. But look how many tomatoes I have. And then the sage is doing great. The basil as well. I keep plucking it. The oregano and the parsley has almost seen its last days out here in this heat. It's getting a little crispy. All of my eggplants. So these are the patio baby eggplants, and they're small and cute. Some people use them as ornamental. I'm going to eat them when they're ready. They're going to go out in the landscape once my other bulbs are done blooming, but I can't really move the other bulbs right now. The sunflowers are doing fantastic. Even the little one I had to stake up is still going strong. And look at that mammoth in the back. Wow. Down here we've got the Arctic Fire dogwood. We've got the begonias. Oh, and weeds. So I was told to really consider mulching down here, and so I did, and still getting those weeds, but what can you do? The sunflowers are really bulking up. Look at this little baby celosia coming. Look at this little baby, so cute. On the other side, identical. We do this every month. The pansies, begonias, the hosta. See all of the mulch back there and all of the weeds? I just can't win. I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull a lot of these weeds before I go, because when I come back, it'll be madness. These were gorgeous when they were in full bloom. There were about 6 of them in bloom at the same time. Oh, phenomenal. In the greenhouse, we've got my sunflowers coming up that my neighbor so graciously gave me. Then we've got our buttercup squash, which I saw squash vine borers. Look at that. So beautiful. Oh, another one. I have it just kind of climbing this greenhouse here. Oh my gosh, and another one. All right, so it must be happy. So we have been letting our broccoli flower just for the bees here. So I feel like the spaghetti squash has been struggling. Look at this leaf here. It's not powdery mildew, but it's some type of fungus, because look, now it's happening up here as well. But it's giving me male flowers and no females. We have some Rosa Bianca eggplants. Oh, a little baby one in there. My okra. Oh, this one needs some water. And my peppers back here. My jalapenos back here are flowering, which has me so excited. It's so wild. Remember, I planted 2 of them. I planted one back here in the ground and one in the raised bed. And this one, though it's a bit leggy, is going so much faster than the other one. Still waiting on blooms here. This part still needs to get mulched, but I ran out of mulch. The hosta, which is looking like it wants to maybe bloom again. The pansies, which has kind of seen their last days. They are not happy in all of the sun. The impatiens are just bulking up so beautifully. I love it. The serviceberry tree is done giving me berries, but still looking beautiful. I was thinking about underplanting it with something, but I haven't yet. So if you know of anything or have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. The Arctic Fire dogwood's getting nice and big there. Just mowed the grass yesterday. I've got to stop mowing before I do videos. Look at this. More blueberries. More blueberries everywhere. Gonna have to pick these. My daylilies, but they are reblooming, so happy to keep getting them. Beautiful. Look at all of them just about to open. No blooms yet here either. The tree peony my honey gave me is still not really doing anything, but not dead, so no complaints. And then I love this corner so much. I love it. I think it's beautiful. So in the back here, we've got this beautiful hydrangea. We have got a drift of the salvia, one which my dog has stepped on and almost basically destroyed. So maybe I was thinking about maybe cutting it back and seeing hopefully if it will just make a little comeback. She stepped right on it with her big old feet. But look how beautiful these are. Look at this. Wow. And look at all of these impatiens doing wonderfully. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? And the lettuce is basically done, but it's kind of still pretty to look at from a distance, so we've left it. Begonias in a pot down here. Still trying to deal with the black spot. It's not going well, but it's alive. It's not dead, and it's getting new red tips. So, you know, hopes. Look at that show of color. Beautiful. Impatiens. Love the hostas. Last but definitely not least, we are going to walk through the veggie garden. So right up front here in my eggplant pepper bed, I believe I called it in my first video, we've got a Rosa Bianca eggplant. It's just about to give me a little baby eggplant. The shishito peppers. Look at all of the peppers coming in. That's phenomenal. My first little watermelon flower. This is the watermelon here in the corner that I want to trellis up here. And that is my first flower. I did have an okra down here, but it's clearly going to need to get moved because this watermelon has just taken over. Then I have carrots, which we have been harvesting one by one whenever we want a carrot or whenever we want to put them in some juice. We've got bunching onions right here in the corner, which have been doing amazing. Look how big these are. Look at that. They're thick. And then my common eggplant, which has so many flowers on it. They are beautiful. Oh, look at the little baby. It's so cute. So this is my most surprising plant. I was not expecting all of this, but oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take that right now. So I did harvest 2 of these beets the other day and they were huge, but I'm really trying to get them out of here because the miners are just out of control. I can't deal with them anymore, and now my my sugar baby watermelons are starting to come in, and I don't want anything to really disturb that. So here we've got all of the plants that I had to pot up the other day because they were getting too big for their containers in the greenhouse, or they were just popping up everywhere all throughout the garden. So here we've got a volunteer tomato, we've got a Roma tomato, we have a volunteer tomato that actually came out of this corn bed. We've got the yellow pear cherry tomatoes here, a tiny tin, and then a whole line of eggplants. And that's in addition to the 2 eggplants that I had in the greenhouse. So I will be giving away a lot of eggplants. And then my first little zinnia. I'm so glad I didn't miss this. I saw them kind of budding up and I was like, wow, they're really not going to flesh out before I leave. But this one just made my day. Look how cool this corn is starting to look. Look at this. Isn't that so cool? I'm so excited for this. And then here, I've got some squash, the bush scallop squash. And yes, there is diatomaceous earth on it right now. I saw a squash vine borer flying around, and then I found several eggs on this plant. So what I do is I keep it off of the flowers as to not harm the bees. But look at this. Little baby squashy. See that? The peas are done. I know they look horrible right now, but I'm letting them dry up so I can get some peas for next year. I've got some short and sweet carrots here that we have been harvesting as well. And then I've got a cucumber plant over here going bananas. It's having some issues in the back here, but I'm not too worried about it considering all of the flowers that I'm getting. Look at all this. Then I have the butter bush right next to it, which is butternut squash. This is like yellowing for some reason. I don't know if maybe it's like a little too close to the cucumber and it's like a little mad, but oh, there's a little butternut squash. Look at that. Cute. We've got the tomato bed. So the tomato bed is doing incredibly well. These here are the green zebra. Look, I don't know if you can even see that. Even down here, a ton of them. Then in this little ring, we've got the Romas. I try to keep them confined because I know how Romas can get, but there are a lot coming. I've been hand pollinating the squash here because not a single one of my squash have made it. They all have gotten blossom end rot and shriveled up and died. I did see squash vine borer eggs on this plant, so I'm not 100% expecting this plant to make it. I have been checking this plant every day for eggs and whatnot. I even put the little yellow sticky tape. I'm just hoping for some squash. And then I have another zucchini plant here. Oh, look at that. This is exactly what I've been talking about. That's a squash vine borer egg. I was just about to hand pollinate that squash flower, and then I saw that bee, and I was almost really made it upset. And that's why I make sure I'm very careful about where I put the diatomaceous earth, because I still want to make sure that the bees can get safely to the flowers and pollinate for me. Oh, another one. All right. And that brings me to this. That's why I put this borage plant here, to attract the bees, because I heard about all of the trouble people have getting their squash pollinated. Oh, these guys just flying around the borage. So I'm going to leave them alone, but I just wanted to show you lastly, I've got the last jalapeno pepper plant right there. And then I've got the Cherokee purple heirloom tomato right down there, some okra, and this purple basil, which is life. I love this stuff. It's so, so good. So tasty and so beautiful. And then the cucumber. There are a ton of flowers on this as well, and I'm not too worried about these cucumbers getting pollinated because, like I said, there are bees at every... Oh my gosh! Do you see that monster? How do you know if it's done? Is it done? How do I know? It's huge. Oh, it has to be. It's probably bitter. Well, that was a nice surprise to end off my little garden tour. I'm so excited about this. Oh my gosh. I hope it's not bitter. Well, that's about it. I'm so excited about everything that I found today. I did not expect to be harvesting anything, but what a happy surprise. Thanks for watching and following me along. See you in the next one.